Hello, hello. So, I do not have a great amount of time. So, my goal is fairly non-ambitious. I mainly just want to get through the rest of patch 6.1. I know we almost certainly will not be going any further than that. And then tomorrow we'll try and get 6.2 done, but I don't even know what my schedule is next week, so... And again, I for some reason recall 6.2 being quite long, so... Yeah. But, in the essence of saving time, or the goal, yeah, I read that. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit most from monetary assistance. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak with the satrap directly, so I would ask that you act in my stead. Arantel, you are to visit Akiali and Yildiman. Speak with Mattia and his people and listen to their grievances. Estinian, I bid you do the same at Palkistan. I will be conducting my own inquiries at the Giant Skull grounds. Once you believe you ascertain the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Megaduka. Oh, Arntel, I was so glad to see you had returned unharmed. You have finished with the boat, then? Anything the village the village desperately needs, well, I suppose Kalzal's loss hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, it's so much more difficult than it was before. Everyone's still struggling to rebuild their lives. For now, we're just banding together as best we can. Greetings and welcome, traveler. If it is your first time to Thavnair, then you must try my special Amara Lassi. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. What could such a wonder cost, you wonder? Naturally, I part with 3 bottles for the generous price of 19,800 gil. But for you, I'm willing to go as low as even 10,000. You'd be practically stealing from me. I am not Estinian. Who is... Oh, God. You're the one who was with that spear-toting fellow? Well, you can hardly blame a man for trying. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still sifting through the ashes, so to speak. Sisters, spare me. We might as well have that ugly tower back for the scant few travelers we see these days. I myself barely have the coin to buy at local prices. I tell you, if I didn't charge the odd adventurer a small fortune for afternoon tea, I'd be scavenging for scraps in the street. How fares the port? Well, it's in shambles, isn't it? The trade routes are open once more, now that the danger has passed, certainly. But no small number of merchants have had to sell their ships to make ends meet in the short term. And to add to that, sailors we lost in the final days, and it's little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. If Kalzal and his consortium were still with us, I'm sure we'd have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that was a man who got things done. God's rest his soul. Yeah, you've spoken with key local figures and gained an understanding of the populace's hardships. Varshan awaits your report at Megaduka. Mans ain't got no soul. It's gone. It would seem my stint on Vritra's back did not go unnoticed. I couldn't take 2 steps before another Hanish local was thanking me profusely for saving their home. Ah, my advisor's return. I've just made it back myself. Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of the time. Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling to say the least. There are few places I can enter comfortably without risk of flattening some cart or stall. Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people of Palkistan were unanimous in their reply. They are surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they persevered with some assistance from Yildamad. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like, and I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs for the most part. Palkistan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard good news and bad. The quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant skull to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of the stone leaving Thavnir has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its posterity dependent on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacles to the flow of trade, so we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn in Akali and Yildamad? I see. Without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch. Which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yildamad. I'm reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beasts sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale, repeated over and over, so many lives lost. Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome, but we will not. Arntel, Estinian, I will consider the perspectives you've brought to me and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries.
I thank you for your attendance. The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadar's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need. And lo, that day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul.
His soul would be intact.
Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Kalzar's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
Minfina's Arms is doing pretty good. Taxes, I guess. Options are scant.
I see. We create a reliable source of revenue. Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadar's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage. Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
Something with Calzal seems appropriate.
A fitting candidate. Kalzar should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavner, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
Last
In that
what was
time of
last
strife,
night?
any one of us could have. When I think of
Shit.
Kalzal,
Oh,
I
wrong
feel
one.
no hatred.
I wrapped up
stinging regrets
Endwalker
that we
in
couldn't
another
have saved him as
stream
well.
later that same night after my internet revived itself, because I am pushing through the story at Mach 10. In fairness though, according to my projections, I'll have all of my like big stuff done by like the end of yeah, I streamed it like at like midnight. It was rough. Should have all of the like mainline stuff done no later than I'd say like no later than the 20th of next month. Like worst case scenario. I'm not doing bad. Not at all. But then after I get done with all the big stuff, the raids and whatnot, and Tataru's Grand Endeavor, I want to do all the job quests, and that'll take a hot minute, I bet. But yeah. Hey, good one, man. Oh.
Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Murad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation. Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. Reminded of Ishgard.
Vitra is warming to his role as satrap. Clearly, all those years behind the curtain were not spent napping. I mean, yeah, he speaks fluent common. He's not speaking the dragon tongue. I don't... Do we ever hear Vitra speak the dragon tongue? The dragon language, or whatever the hell it's called? I don't think we do. Thank you for putting forth Kalzal's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Yashola. She asks that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood. Thank you. Yashola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? I will go with you. I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Ahiwan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done, and I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish. Allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. This is closer, but I think the stairs might mean it's actually going to be a longer run at the end of the day. That said, I do wish I had Peloton. Or infinite sprint in cities, please, SE. And I want to have to grind out, like, 5 million gil shoes. Just to sprint slightly more frequently in cities. Only in cities. Only in cities. For one who claims it is too late to save his sister, Vritra seems awfully interested in whatever revelations Yashola might have to share. Shall we hear what your scholarly comrade has to say?
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the walls separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many voids sent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, The rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No, the danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
Hell yeah, adventure. Count me in.
I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzat-Han, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
About
Actually,
that.
I had hoped you might help us with that. I
Anyway.
presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daimir was overseeing the project.
Daimir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities.
Sorry, I have to
Man-made
update my,
void
my
scent,
spoiler banner
if you will.
because it's no longer accurate.
It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge
That
the
might,
gate.
the unironically might be too small.
A man-made
don't mind me.
voice.
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daimir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee.
Very
They
good.
expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
With Graha's favorite place to sneak around.
Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Oh, so the reason why...
Unless you
Never
anticipate
mind.
needing help to reach the high shelves. I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
If you want to, I don't mind. More void sent for me. You know, I never did go on my tangent about Xenos today. Maybe I'll do that if I have time after I finish the patch. The short version is, I fucking couldn't stand Xenos in Storm's Blood. I thought he was an extremely boring villain. Like, he's more powerful than the Warrior of Light until we get stronger to beat him, and in all regards, he had like no real complexity to him. But the end of Endwalker made me finally understand his purpose as a foil and a dark mirror for the Warrior of Light, among other things. But I'll save that rant for when I'm not actively going through story. On a very tight time budget. If we're to enter Numenon's restricted archives with a minimum of fuss, then we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? Montajane? No one springs to mind. What if... That's what I said. What if Scholark Montajane? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. It is settled. Let us head to Numenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Ishul is now accompanying me. Any checkpoints? 1. Oh yeah, no, the reason why I ended stream early last night was because I wanted to look at some new pants for my Paladin Glamour. And I can assure you, I found nothing. The closest thing I found was the new Lunar Envoy ones, but I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7 and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had the chance to attend the studium. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louisoix took him in off the streets, he was put in the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life might have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Tea at the last stand after a day of lectures. Oh, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. The dark cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get. Well, it was a wondrous, magical childhood, nonetheless. Holy shit, it is. Details I never noticed. Phenomenon is something of a multi-purpose facility used by lecturers and craftsmen alike. If you're looking for learners' meet, it's through the last door on the left. I'm pretty sure that's a adolescent Rogadin. I always assumed it was a Hur because of the height. But nah, yeah, neat, nifty. Ah, visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholark, but we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Oh ho, no furtive forays into the stacks this time. I applaud this newfound sense of propriety. Yet, in all the wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? I'm trying to hop, skip, and jump into the void, man. Looking for a dragon? Sounded like an adventure. And I ain't got nothing better to do. Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Demir has lain dormant in Charlene's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over to the void. Precisely that. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift. For one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Marvelous. An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and wherefores, I, for one, do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request for the forum's consideration. Although your petition would be better received if you had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Why, Master Fortuno, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortuno on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well, we will pay a visit to the Levier estate and plead our case. One last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager. If you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity. Of course, Scholar, we will be sure to pass on any revelations. The forum can be a cantankerous beast. One needs a persuasive voice to get it moving in the desired direction. Montaigne seemed optimistic, but I doubt convincing Fortuno to champion our cause will be as simple as showing up on his doorstep. Out of curiosity. Yeah. I do wish they would add a few more of those extra talking points during these segments. I think this is a very cool system, and I really, really like it. Especially with the changes that they made after launch, where like you can mount up and you don't fucking lose you. But I do think that the ability to like take them places and ask them about them is maybe a little underutilized. Just a little bit. Granted, it is a brand new system within this expansion, so maybe in Dawn Trail we'll see it expanded further. That'd be nice. I feel like a lot rides on Dawn Trail. A lot rides on Dawn Trail. Ah, Master Arental, Mistress Yerstola, how may I be of service? We've come to speak with Master Fortuno. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the Master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well, Emilians would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some other matter of import to discuss. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. You know, I just want to go to hell. We just want to go to hell. It's fine. Just, for like fun. shits and giggles. Going to hell sounds like a nice vacation. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholar Montagine expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you, we will not attempt to circumvent the Forum's authority again, unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. 'Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting the siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Also, crossing the rift would be really fucking nifty. Imagine all the things you can learn from the Fourth. The Fourth is one of the ones that's still alive, right? Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the First would constitute a fair exchange for our cooperation. Do not celebrate just yet. The Forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Baldessian Annex. We'll see how Dawn Trail goes, but I'm so torn on whether I want Miracidia to be where we go next, or if I want another Reflection to be the next adventure. Again, who knows what Dawn Trail has in store. Solution 9 looks interesting. The matter is out of our hands. All that remains is to return to the Annex and await word of the Forum's decision. I've done it twice this stream. That instinctual impulse to immediately mount up, man. So, what did the Forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Montoya has burned some bridges here in Charlian and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the Chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms, I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. That is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yes, well, as I'm sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor, and bid you good day. Ever the same, that one. Uncompromising, aye, but that very stoicism is exactly what Charlian needed to guide it through not one, but 2 exoduses. If I were but 5 years younger, I'd cast aside my lectern and join you on your adventures in a heartbeat. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk in through the door. Our focus will be on finding House Demir's research notes, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. I'd like you to set out as soon as you're ready. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume. You presume correctly. Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for your help, for all your help. Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? I unironically might look up a guide for this quest so that I can avoid progressing the quest. There's a lot. I'm 99% sure that I remember where the right book is, but when you read the right book, it immediately triggers a cutscene and kicks you out of the area. So you can't read the other ones. Oh yes, the restricted reading. Final Fantasy XIV. Do not play sound, please. Stop playing sound. No, I just need you to show me where the right book is. God damn it. Okay, so it would appear that I do recall correctly. I do not recall correctly. Stop? Okay. Leather-bound log. I need to avoid the leather-bound log. To think the set of instructions I lengthily imagined may actually exist, but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Alzadal III's exploits sooner, I would have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Archon, Y'shtola, and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Follow me if you would. Watch your step and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. Oh, I love this song. I want this song in my house. That's 2 orchestration roles I need. I need, shaded something or other. And whatever the fuck this is. I love this. You like jazz? It's I mean, it is just a remix of the great Gooball Libraries theme, but still.
It will be here.
Oh, so yeah, it's probably going to be the name is probably going to be something derivative of Inklung Dried then. If anyone has a specific genre name for like this kind of like jazz, I think it's like jazz adjacent, right? I would love to, I would love it. Please give me the name of that genre so I can find just infinite volumes of music just like this. Thank you, appreciate it. I gotta let my cat out of my room. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Hello. So many books I've yet to read. Yes, we are here for one specific volume. You needn't remind me. Oh, that is the book I cannot touch yet. I only have 3 options. Oh. Well, I am moderately disappointed. I thought there'd be at least 4 or 5. Fair enough. Today in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger, but trembling like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. Though you are tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. In the year 1564 of the 6th astral era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a a potent command of fire-aspected magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resultant deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the Aether should one who believes in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence, some other embodiment of a divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? But if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself may have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic knowledge, wisdom, of every age, yet with no means to verify its pronouncements? How could one be certain that they were true? Though your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. Actually, real quick, just one last sweep. Yep. Nothing else? Nothing else. Also, this room is completely contained with nothing in it. No one can look in on this room. It's fully sealed. Why was Graha worried about moving the ladder around? The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as divided by Nuashan, the 9th patriarch of House Demir. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlian's studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. You appear to have located the forbidden volume you seek. Gishtola will need to make the final confirmation. You see how they all vanished? Have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies. I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by its contents. Well done, Arentel. I think you may have found our prize.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damia's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to
Back
see
to
what all the fuss
normal
was
ink on
about.
dry.
Among the ranks of the Voidsent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as
It's the
Atomos, however,
actual
is uniquely
text.
prodigious
That's
in this
nifty.
regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos. How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon Voidsent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales. And still, House Daemir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves? Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Congratulations on locating the object of your search. Please move along. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atmos, I'm afraid that this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hanish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Demir project. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron, more mode disabled, security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidana can. I say we return to Thavnir and look for her at the Great Work. Yeah, that's what I thought. Worth a shot. All these sallow, sleep-deprived faces, but their eyes still burn with fiery zeal. Some things never change. Y'shtola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, and that you want me to be part of it. I have no doubt you will be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Demir. I never even knew such a work existed. Few should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was, but that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand. I can hardly wait to read it. To think the Demir were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many inventions have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock Atmos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Demir project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Charlian trembling in their sandals. No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Oh, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we've built it? We're going to take a stroll into the void, you know, for shits and giggles. So, there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made Atmos is to expand this hidden portal, then I will need to see it myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then, by all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we finished gathering the components I require. Charlene's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrolabe-infused water. For such a liquid, you need go no further than the font of Maya. The ascetics of old once favored the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of Aether. That sounds perfect. If you would be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vritra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it then, and we meet back here anon? There's no greater joy than having a new puzzle to ponder. Slightly closer, I guess. What? Astrally dense pocket. Yoink. Yeah, still haven't refilled my coffers. It's fine. I'm doing fine. Surely the teleportation costs of just going around won't fuck me over too bad. I hope. The boy married was glad to hear the news of the Foundation. It means a new life for him and his sister. Arkan Ystrula requested that I join you, but of her plans, she offered scant detail. Oh, I forgot to mention, the Font of Maya attracts aggressive wildlife, and you should watch out for them when you go there next time. My apologies. Incorrect, thank you. Do you have that flask for me? Yes, this should suffice. Thank you, Arnton. Look who I came across. Astinian seemed in need of diversion, and we, in turn, may have need of his lance. Right then, now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsuya's boat again? Not this time. Once Ystrula informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Yep. Your Excellency is ever the gracious host, shall we? Tis likely not needed with Ritra alone, but I held onto the map against the chance we might return to the ruins. Onto the boat, if you please. We can chat on the way there. And all this time I thought the tales of Alzadal's horde were no more than drunken sailors' fancies. You need not keep your weapons close at hand. The Guardians will not attack if I am present, so I pray you leave them be. The ship is yours to command. Our thanks. We set sail at once. Oh, this is so exciting. Alzadal's legacy, to see the truth of a legend with my own eyes. All aboard for the treasure vault. He laid He laid waste to them ere I could utter a single word. I thought we cleared this place of constructs the last time we came through. It would seem a few stragglers remained. Poor Fritra, you really should have spoken with Astidian before we left. I shudder to think what we've cost them in terms of construct materials. I forgot about that. That's fucking great.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is it you're doing now?
only the single
There's something I wish to
best,
verify.
only the single best
The NOAA
cutscene in
reports
the entire
claim
game.
that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater. Graha theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
Maybe send a familiar?
Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Vritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences. Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born. Water, froth and foam!
Yep, there it is. Amazing. You should have fucking seen the Reddit the day this patch came out.
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate. I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual. In any case, these two should serve as well. This one will bear a warding scale. And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah, yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void sense slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nadana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
Got it. I will confetti her any... I always am.
And we are glad for it. Let us begin, shall we? Nixies, into the void.
Every time I come here, it reminds me of the dark portal above the Crystal Tower and the final lash of Alzadal's of Asjaya's tail as she plunged into the void. Sister, save me. I will never see Yashola the same way again. Froth and foam indeed. I struggled to picture Yashola as a little girl. Easier to believe, she sprang fully formed from one of Master Matoya's cauldrons. We need to wait for a time to ensure a meaningful result. Be patient and keep watch for any intruders.
I think we've waited long enough. Nixies, return to my side. Thank you, little one. You did well.
The poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
We're out of time. I must reseal the Void Gate.
They're coming through!
In the name of Alzadal III, I bar this door unto the void.
Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent. The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium. Rest now, little ones.
Graha's theory was correct then.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation. It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Ah, my apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void. You remember Una Kalhai, the unusual child we met during our troubles with the Warring Triad. He explained the fate of the 13th thus. The champions of that ill-fated world used the stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. But those self-same heroes were gradually corrupted by the Auracite's bleeding energies, transforming into fiends with an endless hunger for ether. By the time anyone thought to oppose them, Light's strength had grown too feeble, and the balance of the 13th tipped into eternal darkness. It was Elidibus, as I recall, who rescued Unakalhai's spirit from his final battlefield. But I wonder if there were others whom the emissary saved from oblivion.
The barmaid at the Wandering Stairs. This is part of the role quests. We'll get there eventually, I promise.
The server?
Yeah.
Ciela, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And you say she was another of Elidibus's pawns?
Yep. Incredibly ancient, too. Apparently they just don't fucking age when they're a shade like that.
I see. So Ciela, or rather Silver, was beguiled by the same dreams of heroism as Unakalhai. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition? I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way. But first, I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could, if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives? Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
We will see you back in the city then.
Hang on. Just wrap this up real quick. Okay. Seeing the void's terrors firsthand was an experience, but I doubt fear of such creatures is at the root of Ritra's hesitation. Once Nirana succeeds in replicating the mock Atmos, this door into the 13th will be ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realize this is more my endeavor than yours. To be honest, I've no interest in visiting the void myself. Might we discuss this later? There's something I must do first. Fuck. That's the wrong keybind. Why does everyone insist on being so secretive? I, at least, had good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Shall we proceed with our other preparations, then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the void's influence for a prolonged length of time. And I think that is a problem we can address without involving the brilliant but busy alchemists who created it. Who do we need? Who do we know who excels at this kind of structural augmentation? Garland Ironworks? An excellent suggestion. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the void and its volatile energies. With his experienced hand at the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Come, let us visit their operation in Rogger's Reach and commission their best and brightest. A free teleport. Medion. Perhaps this young man can locate Sid for us. Arntel, what brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president, actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid, certainly. I'll see if he has a moment free. A pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us. Heading into the void to find a lost dragon. That sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure. Honestly, I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after Medion and that bloody mess. All right, let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation. It seems some manner of corrosion is set in around a scratch on its surface. Much as the void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds, in which case our best bet may be to simply prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. And how might we achieve that? We have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound which might upset the scale's delicate etheric balance. Far safer to dress it in armor. We'll construct a protective casing, one utilizing metal alloys with high etheric conductivity so as not to impede the talisman's primary function. A suit of armor, as you said. Nero has compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design just to be sure. If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols. I swear, I've never had such a reckless employee. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable, we know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtless be worth the wait. The hard part will be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands, so we'll be sneak about doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let's return to the great work and see how Nidana is getting on with the Mach Atmos. The insatiable curiosity of our alchemists has ever amazed me, though I've largely left them to their own devices since we opened the gate together. I hope Nidana has good news for us.
Hey, Stola. The adjustments are going well, I hope?
'Tis a lengthy process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records. What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Al-Zadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components, and I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos. I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
And were you not also fearless, heedless even, in your determination?
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. It created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And no matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together. But I am satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Celestinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire? We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
I am grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet...
Now you listen to me, Varshan! You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank you for building the orphanage. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy. And I hope that you and your sister can be together again too.
To protect them well, you must take heart.
Take heart and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you. And here I stand, failing to live up to them. If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzatan. My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavnair for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
Take care and fair fortune, little brother. Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
We'll have that Atmos built before you know it. When a project like this comes along, we give it our full and undivided attention. Sleep, who needs it? Oh, that reminds me. I really should finish that other project I was working on for his Excellency. They do tease it. I will not squander this chance you have given me. I will find Ajdaya. Convincing others to follow their hearts is not my forte. I would have gladly let our more philosophical comrades take the lead had they been here. Oh shit, he's here too. What? So someone needed to give that boy a good talking to? You don't suppose I'll be reprimanded, do you? I did just yell at the satrap. You surprise me, Estinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vritra reach his conclusion. 'Twas for the greater good. The worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night, and had travelers believing the place racked by some unnatural storm. What of your own answer, then? You seemed disinclined to venture into the void. When I was one with Nidhogg, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts, his endless rage my rage, and his soul-chilling grief, he nursed for Radatosker's death. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vritra that pain, then I will follow you. And an unusual crew we have here. Indeed, but perfect for our purpose, I should think. I'd rather not bother the Scions with aught less than a dire threat to the star. Now, on to specifics. Unlike the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13th has been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan, as such, is to explore the void in stages, withdrawing to safety after each brief foray. It would be more convenient had we some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace catacombs should serve. Come, let us reconvene outside Megaduta. Which, I think that's the Lunar Greatsword? No. I'm not actually sure which one that is. Maybe the Katisis one? Maybe the Katisis one. Please. Thank you. I was put up in a guest room in the palace while I awaited my audience with Vritra. I expect he'll be given the same use. We'll be given the use of something similar. Only took 3 tries. Conducting our expedition out of the Rising Stones would raise just as many questions as recruiting too many Scions. At least here in Raz-Natan, we might be expected to appear road-weary from our local explorations. And so we will be... Why? And so we will require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? All the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vault. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove and make a room or two ready for habitation. Good. Please inform me when you've completed the arrangements. As you heard, we will have you settled in Megaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, your Excellency. You risk yourselves to aid me in my search for Ajdaya. Providing comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destination. The gods only know how long our exploration might possibly take, or what our chances of success might possibly be. Succeed or fail, I'm grateful to you for convincing me to make the attempt. On that note, I will return to the great work and lend what help I can to Nirana. If you've preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th, now is the time. All I need is my armor and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. Ahoy! Have a good lurk. Well, I should set up commands, honestly. I doubt it's that difficult. You know what this means to me, Arntel, but my purpose need not consume you as well. We are headed to another world. Find what joy you can in the experience, for you are a traveler, an adventurer at heart. This I know, for yours is the 14th seat. Funny timing, though, because... No. Wait, what? Okay, I guess it's... meanwhile, on the 13th, I was under the impression that all the patches ended with the patch name, but apparently I wonder if that's consistent across them, though. Because in this newfound adventure was the first quest, but I'm looking at the wiki, and the next one's last quest is Buried Memory, same as the title, and the same goes for all the other ones. Except for 6.5, I guess, technically speaking, because 6.5 ends with a heroic right, but 6.55 ends with the upcoming one. Very minor spoilers. Like, infinitesimally minor spoilers.
And thus I am returned. To be smiled, bereft of sandals.
Why couldn't our Void Scent avatar look that cool? And with that, we have wrapped up patch 6.1. Tomorrow, I will be doing my very best to get through 6.2, but I also don't know what my schedule is next week, so we'll see how it works out. I have every hope and intention that by the end, or by Friday next week, I will be wrapped up with Post Endwalker, so I may begin working on the raids. We will be doing the Alliance raids first, then the normal raids, and then we will be wrapping up my official list with Tataru's Grand Endeavor and the post quest for Omega, because that came out in Endwalker. Once we have gotten through all of the things on my original official list, we will go through all of the job quests and class quests, of course. Then we will be going through all of the role quests, and then I have some other fun bits and bobs planned for after that, assuming we have the time, which we may, or we may not. It truly depends on how well I maintain my pace. But I want to thank everyone for stopping by. I really appreciate anyone. Was that a fucking... They're flamingos. I never noticed them before. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for stopping by who did. I really appreciate anyone who gives me the time of day. And until I stream again, have a good one all.